Since 2013, they have occupied SWAPO headquarters, Brakwater and public spaces outside government buildings in Windhoek. This group of frustrated youth have been causing social disruption in the capital, blocking the B1 highway, throwing stones whilst engaging in vicious conflicts with the police. The struggle kids, also known as the children of the liberation struggle, have been an eyesore for government who have attempted to subdue the group in a number of peaceful ways. To add to an already volatile situation, one of their members, Frida Ndatipo, was shot during a clash with police outside SWAPO in Windhoek 2 years ago. Are these youth merely frustrated by their circumstances of poverty, or is the violence a result of unkept promises by government? Tonight on One Exclusive, we speak to Tuafeni Ninda, Group Chairperson of the Struggle Kids. Civil unrest, obstruction of traffic and violent clashes with the police. That is what we have learnt about the Struggle Kids from the media over the last 3 years. The Struggle Kids, so called because they are born in exile during the liberation struggle, and they have been making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Some politicians in the past have warned that they should go back where they came from, whereas Secretary to Cabinet George Simata refers to them as the lost children of SWAPO. As the Struggle Kids grow seemingly more aggressive, we beg to know, who are these kids really, and are they justified in their quest for recognition and compensation? With us in studio is Tuafeni Ninda, Group Chairperson of the Children of the Liberation Struggle. Tuafeni, how are you?
Good evening.
Thank you for joining us. Listen, now tell us, for those people who were born after independence, who might not be aware of the liberation struggle, who are the children of the liberation struggle?
The children of liberation struggle are the people, or are the children, but now we don't call them children because they are grown up, are those who were born in exile and raised in exile too. There are those who were born in Namibia and went with their parents in exile. The purpose was to groomed by the SWAPO, or to go in the footsteps of their parents. The government decided to recognize the children of liberation struggle for the purpose of the reason why they are born. They were born to fight for the independence of this country.
So you feel that you were groomed by SWAPO to follow in your parents' footsteps?
Yes, of course. That was the reason why we were born.
All right. Now tell us, where do the struggle kids come from?
Struggle kids come from a different country, whereby when SWAPO was preparing for the independence of this country, they were dividing themselves in different countries. For some of them from Angola, some of them from Zambia, and other overseas. We are not coming from one country, but different countries.
Now tell us, the last 3 years you guys have been very, very loud and seemingly very aggressive, but it's been a long time since independence. What has or has not happened over the last 20 years to bring us to where we are now?
It was in 2002, when the government promised to give a special services to the children of liberation struggle, which was employment opportunity and educational program also, whereby in 2008 we were registered by the government to be employed in the government ministries and also the parastatals, but until today. Some of them they are employed, some of them they are not employed, but most of them which are employed are those used to be in the camp. When they demonstrated, it's when the government decided to take them. There was, 2008, there was a demonstration at Minister of Veterans for the Children of the Liberation Struggle, whereby the government informed us that no, we should go back home, so they will look on it. Some of them, they went back home, and those who remained, they were picked up by the government and they were employed. And the government forgot those who went back, follow the instruction from the government.
So those that did not remain in Windhoek then are really the people who are still standing with their hands out and asking for assistance?
Yeah, that's the, and this, the reason why people come out from their home now It's because there was an announcement from the radio that all the children of liberation struggle, they were finished employed by the government. And they decided to come out and raise their voice that, no, we are still here, we are not employed. Okay. And that's why they came to the camp to ask what they were promised by the government.
Okay, now I did ask you about those 20 years. You say in 2002 you were promised these jobs, but now if I look at the 10 years before that, were you guys all very young at that stage?
Some of them, they were very young, but some of them, they reached the level of being employed by the government. Okay. And that's why when the registration came, it was asked for those who want to go for education and those who want to be employed. Right. That came because of the age stage. And
I think that's really the big thing. I mean, on the one hand, we see all these adult grown men and women calling themselves the struggle kids. But if you look at it in that context, you were still young people, you were still children at that stage. Now, if we have to take it a step further, I mean, at the beginning, I think the Children of the Liberation Struggle, there was membership of 200. Now we're seeing a lot more people. Would that be the children of these children joining you?
No. Those are all the children of liberation struggle. Those are all who born in exile and raised in exile. Because when we join together, we have to come together and confirm if the person is really born in exile or not born in exile. And if he doesn't born in exile, he must have some documents which shows that he is raised in exile. Okay. Well, for example, like a repatriation form and other document from SWAPO that shows that this child is born by a veteran, war fighters, and he was raised or born in exile.
Okay, so you guys are you're very sure that there aren't people who are falling under this that were not born in exile. You say that you have documentation for all your members.
Yes, we used to verify that all the people have the document and they qualify to be with us. They qualify to be called Children of Liberation Struggle.
I just want to talk a little bit about, there's the Children of the Liberation Struggle, and then there's the Namibia Exile Kids Association. What is the difference between your institutions?
There's no difference on that, because they all have the same purpose. Okay. That's just the way of communication or the way of meeting. But the reason it's just to meet one thing, to come together and also to record the history of the Children of Liberation Struggle.
I'm going to stop you there. Viewers, after the break, we'll talk a little bit more about the struggle kids. Welcome back, viewers. Now, Tuafeni, you guys have quite a volatile relationship with the police. What's going on there?
Most of the time, this situation created by our leader, government officials. We don't have a problem with the police, but whenever we try to communicate with our leaders, let me say maybe we made an appointment with them, we request them to talk to them, and they rejected our proposal to talk to them. And we decide that they refuse to talk to us as a civil servant. We decide to go in the group to them. We write a letter to the police, and the police try to facilitate the situation. When they talk to our leaders, the leader doesn't want to come to us or us to go to them, just to talk with the committee. When the police decide to block us, we decide also not to be blocked because we want to talk to the person to give our views, which is ignored. This is the clash. This is how the clash is happening. And the police must facilitate the situation. Whenever we need the senior official for the government, the police try to be in between us. They go and talk to the person whom we want, and we create the platform where we can talk and discuss the issue.
All right. But I mean, it's been quite intense. At one stage, there were 77 detainees, 77 struggle kids detained. I know that the Katatura police station was stormed at a stage, and members, you tried to release some of your members, which begs the question, this idea of yes, you have the right to, protest and demonstrate, but isn't it going a little bit too far at the moment?
No, we have only one reason why we are doing that. But once the government fulfilled the promise that they did to us, because sometimes when I ask myself, does the government make a promise to kill us, to arrest us, or does they make a promise to fulfill what they told us? Because if you look, the instruction for the police to beat or to arrest the people or to kill, it's coming from police. It's a government, and the police they just try to enforce the law. We don't want to clash with the police. We don't want to go the law not to obey to the law of the country, but what we want, it's the promise that the government give us to promise to us.
But to Afeni, there were a number of you who blocked the B1 highway. I mean, that's a very big thing, and it's a very dangerous thing. I think that's also the next question. The SWAPO government 20 years ago might not be the same government that we have today. And I think a lot of people beg the question, what makes the struggle kids in particular so special?
Yeah, just like I explained in the beginning, that we were born as a revolution for our fathers and our mothers. We were born for the purpose to go in the footsteps of our mother and fathers, to liberate this country. And for this, for the reason why the Namibians enjoying the peace and enjoying the independence of this country, enjoying the fruit of this country, it's because of the blood of our parents. We were born also to go in their footsteps.
Your parents have lost their lives in the struggle, and they gave you the special status 20 years ago, but now we're still not at a stage where we're finding resolution.
Yeah, that's true, but if you look on that issue, let me say those parents which left in the exile, who are died, if they were also here, they came back also, at this time, where they will be. If they were here, look at our parents. When they promised, let's fight and liberate the country to enjoy the fruit of the country. At the end of the day, when they come back to Namibia, they sit, and the government forgot them, until they stand up and demonstrate. It's when most of them, they were employed, when they stand up and raise their voice that, no, we fight for this country to enjoy the fruit of this country, but at this time, we are suffered for our strength. We fight to suffer, but the reason why we want to fight for this country is to see the fruit of this country. And where are the fruit of this country?
So you're not enjoying the fruits that your parents worked so hard
We are not
for.
enjoying the fruit of the country, but if our parents were there, they could enjoy the fruit of this country for the reason why they were fighting for it.
Yes.
But at this moment, we are forgotten.
Yes.
That's why we have also some of the people, like they went in exile. They are not falling in the category of veterans. They are not falling in the category of children of liberation struggle. They're in between. And the government also forgot them. They are with us there. We call them a veteran. But because the government is supposed to look on them, to count them, they forgot them that, no, we have this category of people, what must we do? And some of them, their parents also died during the liberation struggle, whereby they doesn't have a parents, doesn't have anybody to help them. How are they going to enjoy the fruit of this country?
In less than a year, struggle kids emerged in Windhoek from far and wide. Government has had to deal with an influx of young people from Oshikoto, Oshana, Ohangwena, Omusati, Karas and Ironga regions. The struggle kids have intensified their efforts to be heard following the wrongful death of 4 of their members. In August 2014, 26-year-old Frida Ndatipo, a valued member of the Struggle Kids, was shot by a stray bullet during confrontations with the police. A year before her, Titus Ita lost his life to injuries which the Struggle Kids imply were inflicted by the police. This year, 2 youth belonging to the mob were hit by oncoming traffic on the B1 highway. The deaths of their fellow members has only intensified their occupation and demonstrations. After the break, we speak to Struggle Kids Group Chairperson Tuafeni Ninda to find out what it will take for the violence to end. Welcome back, viewers. Now, Tuafeni, we're going to touch on one more thing before we close up, particularly the death of Frida Ndatipo and your deaf member, Mr. Ita. Have you guys gotten justice on these deaths?
One side there is justice, the other side doesn't have. Because if you look on that matter, all this situation, it's created by the government. If what the government promised, there will be no such activities. We are there whereby the SWAPO keep us there and promise that no, we'll take you from the SWAPO office to the money until the budget comes for this year. After the budget, you will be employed. But until today, we are waiting there. Nothing happened. We can see now.
So you've moved out of the spotlight to Ndilemani camp, and now you feel like you're just being sidelined again.
Yes. What it's promised is not going to be fulfilled. And this is, we are different now. You can tell the person that, no, please, let's be at this side. If you keep the person there, what will you give that person that side? You have to move outside to look for something to eat. Because if you keep him there, no one can give him food to eat. So these are the reasons why people try to have a lot of movement, and the accident happened on that. And also, if you look at that road in the B1, there is a speed limit there, whereby the drivers, they're exceeding the speed limit, which was supposed to drive at the 60, but they exceed that speed, which shows that maybe it's the highway, or we don't know how will that government will stop on that situation, but they need to. I
think, a lot of your members walked 200 kilometers to get to Windhoek. So I think the desperation is definitely there, which begs the question, to close off this discussion, what next? What are we going to see?
No, for us now, we decide just to sit with the government. There is a program, the committee which is set up in the office of the Prime Minister to deal with the issue of the child and liberation struggle, which is a coordination committee and a technical committee, which the technical committee is led by the Chairperson of the Cabinet, which have the members are PS, permanent secretaries of the ministries, and the coordination committee, which the child and liberation struggle, there is 2 members in that committee, also to share their views. After, when they sit, they discuss the issue and they find the way forward. There is a relocation to Berhokas. The government want to put us on their hand, and sometimes you see they stand up, they are doing something, but they still fail to put something on the paper that, okay, you go to Berhokas, after that we are taking you to this side.
So you want a clear plan from government, and that's what's going to happen?
We need a clear plan for the government. If they do that, they came to us, they wanted to relocate us. We said, no, we are not going to move unless you put something on the paper that you are going to Berhokas or Farm du Plessis for this period of time, and after that period of time, you are going back to home, or we are going to do ABC to you.
And if that doesn't happen?
If that doesn't happen, we cannot move.
So you will continue to occupy these spaces in Windhoek?
No, we are going to be tired there. We doesn't have anything to eat there. We will stand up and come back to Windhoek. Imagine we doesn't have a hospital there. We doesn't have a toilet at that side. We doesn't have anybody to supply us food. But in Windhoek, it was near for us. And there is a building, people could go to the building site to help us and say, no, go clean there, I'll give you $10. That $10 I'm going to buy my food.
Okay.
But,
so that's your only alternative at the moment?
Our alternative, it's just, if the government doesn't put something on the paper, which is a clear plan for us, we can move. But if they give a clear plan for us, we will move. It doesn't have a problem with that.
There you have it, viewers. That's all from us tonight. Share your thoughts on tonight's topic via SMS to 555. Remember that SMSs are charged at $1.50. Good night. See you next week.